We're watching live pictures here from Hong Kong. This is in the Yuen Long train station. Those are pro-democracy protesters there. They have set up a barricade blocking access to that station. You can see the protesters. They're wearing hard hats, gas masks. They're carrying umbrellas, which has become an iconic symbol of the ongoing pro-democracy movement there. They've set up a barricade there with waste bins. They're also carrying fire extinguishers, which appears to be a way to respond to if police use, as they have in the past, tear gas against the protesters. Here, this follows 11 straight weekends in Hong Kong of pro-democracy protests, many of which have attracted hundreds of thousands of people to peaceful protests in the streets. At other times, there have been clashes between portions of the protesters and police who have used tear gas, batons. There have been arrests as well. Again, these are live pictures from Hong Kong, where it is late in the evening. We have CNN correspondent Will Ripley, who is in Hong Kong now. He's on the phone. Will, what do we know about these protests and what's planned?
Well, what we're seeing here began as a kind of a peaceful sit-in at the Yuen Long MTR station, which, of course, was the scene of that attack involving suspected triad gang members. This is the anniversary that was being marked, the 1 month anniversary. And yet now what has happened, as we've often seen in this cycle of this summer of discontent, when things seem like they're slowing down, the most recent flashpoint was at the Hong Kong International Airport. They resolved that situation. They secured the airport. And now we have protesters at this MTR station barricading themselves inside. And as you can see, they are prepared for a standoff. They're wearing helmets, they're wearing goggles and masks, as if they're getting ready for the potential for pepper spray or tear gas or any sort of deployment. Some of them have what appears to be body armor to defend against non-lethal ammunition that Hong Kong police have used as of late.
As we're watching, you can see protesters pulling down a metal barrier there and firing those fire extinguishers towards police. Again, this is taking place live. These are live pictures inside a Hong Kong subway station. It is late in the evening there, just about 11 o'clock p.m. As you can see, these are protesters protesting that there was no prosecution of gang members who attacked protesters violently a month ago.
Bombastic, blonde, one of Brexit's big backers. Alexander Boris Johnson is known simply as Boris to the British public. Sometimes called a Marmite politician. You either love him or you hate him. New York born, Eton bred and Oxford educated. A man gaffe-prone and unpredictable enough that the phrase Boris is Boris, accompanied by a shrug, has become an adage in British politics. Born into a political family, Eurosceptic Johnson spent some of his childhood in Brussels, where he'd later work as a journalist, making a career out of criticising EU rules and regulations. He got fired from a British newspaper for fabricating a quote, but in typical Boris style, he landed on his feet and became editor of The Spectator magazine, and then a Member of Parliament, making a name for himself as a charismatic maverick in the British media. In a political triumph, he was elected London Mayor in 2008, made headlines during the 2012 London Olympics for championing the City of London and getting stuck on a zip wire. Boris Johnson has been referred to as the closest thing Britain has to President Trump because of his populist tone, controversial anti-immigrant rhetoric, likening Muslim women wearing the burqa to letterboxes, and cultural faux pas as Foreign Secretary, including reciting colonial-era poems on trips to territories of the former British Empire. Donald Trump has called him a friend and supported his run for Prime Minister.
Boris Johnson, I think, would be a great Prime Minister.
Not short of ambition, Johnson's sister recalled how as a child he wanted to be world king. He steeped himself in the ancient heroes of the past and those closer to home, writing a book on his political inspiration, Winston Churchill. His ambition for the top job in Westminster has been the worst-kept secret in British politics. After a rocky leadership campaign marred by chaos in his personal life and accusations of avoiding proper media scrutiny, Boris Johnson beat his rival Jeremy Hunt to replace Theresa May. it will face the same problems as made it: a hung parliament, Brexit deadlock, and a divided country and party. His supporters hope by sheer force of personality and a tougher negotiating stance with the EU that he will succeed where others have failed.
My suggestion, recommendation, keep Marysville a white community as much as possible.
I was floored. I was speechless. I didn't know how to react to it. Nobody did it sitting at the table.
Why do you think Marysville should stay white?
We like it the way it is.
This is 68-year-old Jean Kramer, who is running for city council in Marysville, and we're told she stunned everyone at the Meet the Candidates Forum in City Hall last night when she said they should keep Marysville white. Here she is responding to the audible gasp in the room.
Seriously, in other words, no foreign-born, no foreign people. If people are coming here to get away from their own country, what they should do is, or need to do, is go back to their own country and straighten it out.
Kramer claims she's not racist. Now listen to what she says about a new couple in the neighborhood. One is American and the spouse is Canadian.
And they're both white.
So that's okay.
Yeah.
But she's foreign.
Right.
I don't know if Canadian would be foreign.
The simple fact is that people here in Marysville, or even in Port Huron, the majority of people just feel that was a real ignorant statement to make, and we don't believe that. We don't feel that way. And so to have something like that overshadow such a positive event here in Marysville like Hot Wheels Weekend is really kind of sad.
I have no problems with black people. As long as people marry the same kind, I have no problem.
I also asked her what she was afraid of if foreign-born people came to Marysville.
As long as they don't push themselves on other people, I wouldn't have any problem.
And the mayor of Marysville has gone on record calling Kramer's comments racist, vile, and jaw-dropping.